Okay, so today we're diving deep into the world of grinding machine operators. We're going to figure out how to totally ace that interview using, all the intel RoleCatcher has.
Yeah, we're talking blueprints for interviews, career maps, the works. We'll unpack why certain things matter to these employers.
It's like having a cheat sheet, right? No more walking into interviews unprepared. So, RoleCatcher gives us some sample interview questions. Let's dive right in.
All right, so how about this one? Tell us about your experience with operating grinding machines. Sounds basic, right? But it's your opener. Gotta make it count.
It does seem like they want more than just a list of every machine you've touched. What are they really looking for here?
Specificity, relevance. Don't just say, I've used various grinders. Give them a highlight reel. What did you do that shows off the skills this job needs? Any projects that needed crazy precision? Mention those. Tough problem you solved. That's gold. And whenever you can, throw in some numbers. Quantify those wins.
So instead of just rattling off machines, it's more like,
At X company, I focused on surface grinding. Consistently hit tolerances of 0.001 inches. That's actually even better than what they usually ask for. See? Instantly shows you know your stuff and you deliver.
boom, straight to the point.
Yeah.
Now that's how you grab their attention. It makes me think about RoleCatcher's AI feedback that could be a game changer here, right? Helping tailor answers to each specific job.
Oh, absolutely. It's like having a personal coach who's studied the employer and fine-tunes what you say to really hit the mark. But more on that later. Let's tackle another question. How do you ensure those grinding machines are humming along efficiently?
They're definitely not looking for, I oil it sometimes, right? What kind of answer would make them sit up and take notice?
It's all about being proactive. Employers, they love to hear about candidates who don't wait for things to break down. Think adjusting settings, picking the right grinding wheel. Those are the details from RoleCatcher's guide that scream, I'm a problem solver, not just an operator.
It's that difference between just driving a car and actually knowing how to, change the oil, check the tire pressure. You're showing them you're invested in keeping things running, which means less downtime for them.
You got it. And less downtime means more productivity, right? Music to an employer's ears. All right, ready for one that often trips people up? How do you troubleshoot grinding machine problems?
Ooh, that one sounds a bit intense. How do you even stay cool when they hit you with that?
Easy. You got to show off those analytical skills. You got to demonstrate that you really get how these machines work. Remember how RoleCatcher's career guide emphasized mechanical knowledge, understanding production processes? Let's say, for example, the grinding wheel is wearing down way too fast. How would you tackle that?
Okay, let me think. So grinding wheels, they're key to getting that perfect finish on whatever you're working on. So if the wheel's shot, the quality's going to tank. Am I on the right track here?
Getting there. Saying how the problem affects things shows you think ahead. Now take it a step further. What's the solution? What would you actually do? You could say, if the wheel's wearing down too fast, first thing I'd do is check it for any damage, see if it's dressed right. Then I look at the material feed rate, how hard the workpiece is, make sure those match the wheel's specs.
Wow, okay, that is specific. But it makes total sense. You're not just throwing darts blindfolded. You're showing them you have a system. Can we break down dressing a grinding wheel real quick, though, for those who might not be familiar?
Sure thing. Dressing a grinding wheel just means you're cleaning it up, basically. You're getting rid of those dull or clogged up abrasive grains so it's sharp and shaped right. It's super important for the wheel to work its best and for, that whole precision thing we're going for.
That makes sense. Thanks for clarifying that. Now I'm curious, what are some common mistakes people make with this whole troubleshooting question?
Biggest one, vague answers, surface level stuff. Don't just say, I'd check the settings. Get specific. Tell them what tools you'd use, what you'd actually adjust, and why. Like, I'd grab a dial indicator to measure the wheel's run out, make sure it's within tolerance.
All about the details. Those specifics show you really know what you're talking about. I'm definitely seeing a pattern here.
100%. All right, let's switch gears to another big one. Safety. The question, how do you ensure safety when operating grinding machines? This is your chance to really shine as someone who takes safety seriously.
Yeah, safety is huge GE in any kind of manufacturing, but especially with these powerful machines. So what kind of answer really makes an impact?
It's not enough to just rattle off safety rules, like a robot. You have to make them feel that you understand WHY, those rules are there, that you actually care about keeping your workplace safe.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly. For example, instead of just saying, I always wear my safety glasses, you could say something like, I'm really careful about wearing all my PPE, my eye and ear protection, especially because I know things can fly around, and that noise can really damage your hearing over time. Plus, I like to keep my work area super organized, to prevent any trips or falls.
So you're showing them you get it. You're not just following rules because someone told you to, but because you understand they're there to protect you and everyone around you.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to share any times you spotted a potential hazard and spoke up. Maybe you noticed a cable was frayed and reported it. Or you suggested a better, safer way to do something. Those real-life examples, those make you stand out.
It's like anyone can memorize a list of rules, but when you've lived it, when you've seen the why, that's what makes it real. Speaking of real, how about we tackle a question that lets you actually tell a story? Like, describe a time you had to troubleshoot a grinding machine problem. This is your time to be the hero, right?
It's story time. But not just any story, right? It's got to be the right story.
So how do you choose? Go for the one that makes you sound the coolest, even if it's not really about this job.
Nope, that's a trap right there. The key is picking a story that lines up with those skills RoleCatcher was talking about. Like, did you ever have to really understand a blueprint to fix something? Or maybe you saw the same problem happening over and over and you found a way to stop it before it even started, saving everyone time and headaches. Those are the stories that win.
Okay, so specifics matter. No more I fixed a thing stories. Give me an example of one that'll really wow these interviewers.
All right, picture this. You're working on a bunch of parts, and the surface finish is all over the place, totally inconsistent. So you could say, I was working on a batch of parts, and the finishes were inconsistent. I checked the program, made sure the wheel wasn't worn down, and then I found a loose clamp on the workpiece. Tighten that baby up, and boom, problem solved, no more defects.
Okay, I can see how that would impress someone. It shows you take initiative, you know how to troubleshoot, you pay attention to detail, all stuff from that career guide. Plus, it's a good story. It's got a beginning, middle, and end. People remember that stuff.
Exactly. You're taking them along on that journey, showing them how you think, how you learn from your mistakes. A good story, that sticks with them.
This is really making me realize there's a lot more to interviewing than just showing up and hoping for the best.
Oh yeah, preparation is key. But that's where RoleCatcher's AI tools can be a lifesaver. You can practice answering these questions, get feedback tailored just for you, and really refine your whole approach so that when you walk in that door, you're radiating confidence.
Speaking of confidence, how about we tackle a couple more questions before
Absolutely. Let's dive into one that really separates the precision pros from the amateurs. How do you ensure that grinding machines are operated within specified tolerances?
Ooh, that sounds intense. Like something out of a movie where they're making those tiny little watch parts. What are they really getting at with a question like that?
You nailed it with that analogy. It's all about showing them that you're detail-oriented. Remember those measuring tools and blueprint reading skills RoleCatcher talked about? This is where you get to let those skills shine.
So instead of just saying, I follow the instructions, I need to.
Show them you're proactive. Imagine saying, before every job, I make sure to calibrate and double-check those measuring instruments. Gotta be accurate, right? And while I'm grinding, I'm constantly checking the dimensions against the blueprint, making those tiny adjustments to the machine settings to make sure everything's perfect.
You're not just following orders, you are the machine, making sure every move counts.
Precisely. It's all about showing that dedication to quality, knowing what those machines can do and how to make them sing. Speaking of which, let's unpack this next one. Can you describe your approach to setting up a grinding machine for a particular workpiece?
That sounds pretty straightforward, but I have a feeling there's more to it than meets the eye. What are they trying to figure out with this one?
Think of it like this. They hand you a really complex workpiece with all sorts of angles and curves. How do you even begin to set up the machine? What's your game plan?
Okay, let me get a shot. Well, first things first, gotta study that blueprint, right? Really understand what the end goal is. Then it's about picking the right tools for the job. Like, you wouldn't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut, right? You got to choose the grinding wheel that's right for the material and the finish you're after.
You're on fire. You've nailed those first steps. Now let's sprinkle in those specifics that'll make you stand out as the expert.
So instead of just saying I'd choose a grinding wheel, it's more like,
If it's a super complicated shape, lots of curves and angles, first, I figure out the best order to do things in based on that blueprint. Then I'd choose a grinding wheel that's got the perfect profile to get those intricate shapes. Or maybe I'd even use a few different wheels if I need to. And of course, you got to make sure the workpiece is clamped down tight, wouldn't want any movement while we're grinding. Last but not least, I always double check those machine settings, the feed rate, depth of cut, all that good stuff to make sure it's going to be precise and efficient.
it's like conducting a symphony of precision. Every single detail matters, from the grinding wheel to the machine settings.
You got it. And that's the kind of passion and expertise that makes an interviewer go, this is the one.
We've covered some seriously next-level strategies for these interview questions today. But before we get too far, can we circle back to RoleCatcher's AI? I'm really curious how that can give candidates a leg up in this whole process.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine having a coach, right? But this coach has analyzed the job description, knows exactly what they're looking for, and gives you personalized feedback on how to nail it. That's RoleCatcher's AI in a nutshell.
Sounds like a secret weapon.
It kind of is. Their AI, it digs into the job description, finds those keywords, those must-have skills, and then it tells you exactly how to highlight your best experiences. It's all about showing them the you that fits what they need.
So it's not just what you know, it's how you present it. It's like personal branding for your career.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI helps you nail that presentation. It even gives you tips on your body language, your tone of voice if you're doing a video interview, making sure you come across as confident and capable.
Wow. It's like having a whole team of experts in your corner.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
And get this, RoleCatcher's help doesn't stop at the interview, their career guide. It's got some amazing insights into where a grinding machine operator career can actually take you.
Oh, yeah. It's not just a dead-end job, is it? There's room to grow, to really
Yeah.
move up in the world. So what kind of paths are we talking about here?
It's not just a straight line, which is awesome for people who like variety and learning new things. They talk about moving into leadership roles, like becoming a supervisor where you get to share all your knowledge and mentor others. You could even work with those super advanced machines we've all seen in videos. And imagine working side by side with engineers, figuring out how to make things even better. It's like pushing the boundaries of what's possible in manufacturing.
Now, that's what I call dynamic. It's not just about mastering machines. It's about becoming a leader, a problem solver, a real innovator in the field.
You've got it. And RoleCatcher really emphasizes that a lot of those opportunities, they come from constantly learning and improving, something they're really big on.
Got to keep those skills sharp, right?
Yeah.
What does that actually look like in this field? Are we talking about taking some advanced classes, getting certified?
100%. In this industry, if you're not learning, you're falling behind. So yeah, think about those advanced courses on grinding machines. Maybe learn how to program them, attend workshops on the latest and greatest tech, or even go for those big-time industry certifications. Some companies will even pay for that stuff because they know how important it is.
And that's what I call investing in yourself. Smart move.
The smartest. And don't underestimate those industry associations either. RoleCatcher mentions a few in their external resources section. You've got the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, the National Tooling and Machining Association. Those can be gold mines for meeting the right people, staying in the loop on the latest trends, even finding more specialized training.
It's like having a whole network of people who get it, who are passionate about the same things you are. That's invaluable.
Tell me about it. So yeah, crushing that interview, it's step one, but it's just the beginning of what could be a seriously amazing career.
It's about having that bigger picture in mind, knowing where you want to go and how to get there. And speaking of the future, I got to ask, what about automation? It's on everyone's minds these days. How's that going to shake things up for grinding machine operators? It's like we've gone through a whole apprenticeship in this episode, from the interview prep to envisioning where this career could lead.
And just like a finely ground piece of metal, we've polished those interview skills to a shine. But as we wrap up this deep dive, we wanted to leave you with something, a final layer of polish, if you will.
Ooh, I like where this is going. Hit us with that final bit of wisdom.
Throughout our journey today, we've emphasized precision, understanding the why behind the what, and embracing a mindset of continuous learning. But here's the question we challenge you to ponder. How can you, as a future grinding machine operator, not just keep pace with manufacturing's evolution, but actually shape its future?
Whoa, okay. That's a powerful thought. So we're not just cogs in the machine, we're potential innovators.
Exactly. As automation becomes more prevalent, those who understand these machines, who know the intricacies of grinding inside and out, will be the ones to unlock new possibilities.
Because they're on the front lines, seeing the limitations, the places where things could be even better.
Precisely. Maybe it's you who discovers a more efficient grinding sequence for a complex part, saving time and material. Or you might develop a new technique to achieve even tighter tolerances than ever thought possible.
Or what if, and this is me thinking big picture now, what if there are ways to make the grinding process itself more sustainable, less wasteful? Could a grinding machine operator be part of that solution?
Absolutely. That drive to constantly improve, to never settle for good enough, that's what pushes an industry forward. And who knows, maybe someday it'll be you sharing your expertise on this very podcast, inspiring the next generation.
Okay, now I'm really excited. So, to sum it all up for our listeners,
Precision and preparation are your foundation, but a passion for this work, that thirst for knowledge, that's your competitive edge. And with the resources RoleCatcher provides and your own dedication, you have the tools to shape not just metal, but your future in this exciting field.
we've covered it all. From acing those interview questions to envisioning a future where you are the expert, it's been a thrill.
And on that note, until next time, keep those wheels turning.